Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, I'm going to do a second round on the same reading from yesterday. It is from Voices of Recovery, the excerpt from May 30th on page 151. And just because I want to go in an entirely different direction with it, I'm going to read it again. When working this step, we do more than just recite events from the past which we consider to be our wrongs. We need to look at what those actions cost us. Two things. Yes, we need to look at what those actions cost us down the road. And we also, this is what I'm positing here, is that we need to look at what led to them. So I was listening to a meeting today. It was one of the recordings from A Vision for You. I don't know if you know it, but avisionforyou.org, number 4, not FOR, has tons of amazing meetings in the OA. It's an OA intergroup, an online thing, and it has just they go through the big book. They have meetings every day. Anyways, it's wonderful. But what many people were talking about on their share today, and it was on the chapter There is a Solution, was that their inability to be honest with themselves is part of what got them into their disease and kept them there. And so there's something I learned in coaching that helped me. Like, I didn't even know I was being dishonest with myself. And so they taught me this tool where I just, you lay it out. You lay out every single step of the way, from the thought that you're telling yourself to how it makes you feel, to what your action is, to what it's costing you. And like I mentioned before, I had so much trouble seeing my side of the street. I knew I was doing stuff wrong. I believed that I had a part in it, but for the life of me, I couldn't say what it was, or I couldn't catch it when it was happening. And it was driving me mad because it was also keeping me sick, keeping me stuck in the steps, and emotionally run ragged. Just the difficulty of controlling my emotions and harnessing them and honoring them and working with them and knowing that they're good, but knowing that they have to be disciplined in a way, kind of like a toddler. I mean, our emotions are like a toddler. If they're not lovingly guided, they're going to run rampant and cause mass destruction. Toddlers do that, believe me. So I want to look at this. So in reciting events, very easy to think of a specific event. And then, okay, so just this will be a little focus on coaching because it's just so interesting to me. So what coaching taught me and what I found very helpful, and this is, I'm just going to go with it. This is just considering the conscious mind. Okay, I'm just going to give that caveat. So if something happens, we think something about it. And maybe it's not like I'm thinking blah, 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 but it's like you make an association, and it happens so fast we don't even know we're doing it. So you make an association, or you have you're assuming something. You're assuming someone else's intent, or you're assuming some sort of meaning. You have an interpretation about what happens. So you're either making an association or you have an interpretation about what's happening. Or you're jumping into someone's mind and trying to guess what they're thinking, which usually comes from assuming something. So anyway, so that happens. And then what happens in our bodies is that literally we have a thought, and that actually is what creates the emotion we're feeling. And so most of us have no idea we're having this thought. We have no idea that we're even thinking it. But this is like a cognitive behavioral therapy approach, really cognitive behavioral approach to just working with the human person. And it's that you have a thought, you have an emotion, that thought triggers an emotion or creates an emotion. And from our emotions, that's actually where we get our motivation to do or not do something. And then from what we do or don't do, then we have the results. Then we can see what those actions cost us. So as an example, let's just say you have a disagreement with someone. That's your situation. That's your circumstance. And when you have that disagreement, you think, and granted, remember, this is what coaching helped me do, is to slow my interior life down enough to actually realize the things I was thinking, because it's the things that I'm thinking that were actually like running my life, whether I knew it or not. And most of the time I didn't know it, and it was keeping me sick. So someone says you have a disagreement with someone, and then you say, "Oh, they never take my side." And then in that thought, you have the emotion of like, just disgust, like get away from me. This is never going to work. It's almost actually like defeat underneath that disgust. Like that disgust is a little bit self-protective, where you're like, oh, she's just never going to take my side. And really what you're doing is you're using that as like an icy exterior to the hurt of like, she never takes my side. She doesn't see me. She doesn't understand me. She's not trying to know me and the way this affects me. So then really there's this defeat underneath it. And from that place of defeat, my actions that follow are usually, I give up. I don't try to help her understand. We start on that road of really recognizing our part, so we can choose something better, something healthier, something that our higher power would want for us, something that we would want for someone that we love. And I just couldn't get down to that nitty-gritty until coaching, until they taught me this model to work through my interior life. And it's made such a difference. And I wish that for you. I really do. I think it could take the world by storm, So that was a little bit more of just like a personal, my personal story, less of a strictly 12-steppy reflection. So yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. It was almost like an aside to what yesterday's share was, but maybe that triggers something in you. Maybe it gets your mind turning. Love you guys. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess, and I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.